Hi, I'm Therese Swenson, and I'm at the Siskiyou Media Council, and I'm still wearing a mask when I come in and I shop and I go out. I know that there's a big disagreement about masks, but we're still getting people vaccinated, and there's been a pause. I've been doing COVID updates ever since February of last year. And right now there is a pause on the J&J. And the interesting thing about it is they will probably start up again in a week or so. But what was important is they wanted everybody to know that out of 7 million shots, 7 people had blood clots. Now, that's not very many, but they were afraid it was underreported. So by pausing it and being transparent and saying, we're asking everybody, has there been other incidents of blood clots? They're able to educate people. Because the most important thing with us people today, informed is empowered. And if you understand what's happening, it makes it easier to digest, because there's been so many different messages. In the beginning, it was, don't wear a mask, we need them for the people on the front line. Then it was everybody should wear a mask, wash your hands all the time. Now they're finding that it mostly is aerosol. So anyway, by being transparent and telling you there was a blood clot issue, by asking people to come forward if they knew anybody that had a blood clot issue with getting the vaccination, and also they wanted to educate the doctors that are treating anyone that should have a reaction, because the treatment for this type of blood clot is not heparin. I know that when people have a blood clot, the doctor gives them Coumadin or heparin, and that is not the treatment if it's a reaction to the vaccination, if it's not something your own body is managing. So it's important for the transparency for people to come forward and doctors to know the right treatment. And then I think we'll start up again when they're sure everybody knows that. Now, they're still suggesting that even after a vaccination, masks are needed. This was a headline that I saved. And they're saying that we're just, you may have had the vaccination, but your body might be building antibodies. Also, you may be processing a different variant. So they want us to wear masks when we are in stores where the air is stagnant. And they want us to wear masks around people that are high risk. People with diabetes seem to be like 70, 80, 90% of the people that passed away either had a weight issue where they couldn't breathe, or diabetes was an important factor. So some people have undiagnosed diabetes. Anyway, so about the vaccinations, the people that will get them and the people that have the virus, we're going to get a type of herd immunity and protection, but we still just need to be careful a little bit longer with masks. I know there's a big divide in the country about masks. I understand. I'm here with the Siskiyou Media Council here in Weeb, California. And the address is smc, siskiyouMediaCouncil.org. We're also on YouTube, so you can put Siskiyou Media Council in YouTube, and you'll see the different programs that are being recorded here. Now, we have new equipment, and they've rearranged the studio to get better green screen for when you want to have a different background. Like right now, I look like I'm near my mountain, and then I have a window where I can show things to you. Anyway, Siskiyou Media Council, this is the Alvarado building, and it's right by the kiosk for ATM. So if you've come to the back side of the college, you've seen it. So Siskiyou Media Council is a studio where we have cameras and a TriCaster, and we're recording for the public access station here in Siskiyou County. Now, in South Siskiyou County, the two stations are MCTV, Mountain Community Television, Channel 15, and in Wairika, it's YCTV, Channel 4. Now, not a lot of people watch public access, but we'd really like to get more people involved so that we have more variety of programming. If you're starting a garden and you'd like to take pictures of your garden and then maybe do a little tutorial, like maybe you have a secret about how you plant your tomato and you break off that bottom branch and stick it in the ground and two plants grow and produce. Maybe you have a way that you move your strawberries so that they make more plants. I think people tell you that pine needles are good for berry plants. I was thinking I have so many pine needles in my yard, I should be filling paper bags full and selling them for $1 because it's just so much work, but they're very fire dangerous. So now that I've said that, I have a little spiel I'm going to do about fire, and I want to make sure that we're all fire safe, because right now we're talking about what a serious drought it is. So since I've mentioned that, I'm going to segue to my little, I can't see, and it says, are you prepared? And CAL FIRE and the Forest Service and Fire Safe Council all got together. And you know, when we talk about masks, these are the kind of things that you may just keep in your car if you have scarves or things to cover up, but not only for the virus, but for smoke. If we should have any, right now they're doing controlled burning to try and burn up some of the brush. But we really all need to think about, the county has books, and you can probably look it up on the web, that has emergency preparedness guidebook. And it talks to people. One of the things I like to remind you this time of year, because I was talking about pine needles, is that they like to lie on the roof. And they really are good fire starters. So you want to walk outside and look at all the nooks and crannies of your roof and make sure there's not some there. Because if an ember comes down and it lands on those pine needles, they are so flammable. Sometimes I put a handful just to start my fire, but it goes whoosh. So pine needles are very, very, what do you call it, where they start fast? John, I don't know the word I want. Anyway, the difference with our studio now with our new equipment is John's in the other room, so I really can't see him. I used to get a flag start now. When does your show start? But we're working out all the angles on this. Anyway, I want to stay with being prepared for fire, because last year we, in Northern California, or not Northern California, in Southern Oregon, there was an issue with fire from north of Ashland up to Medford. And it just was like, came on so fast. We need to remind people, just think about, I don't want fire to come near you, but make sure you do a mental note in your head about where all your important papers are. Make sure they're just in one place, and maybe the photograph albums, and talk to your family about what to do if you have a 2-story house or you have a basement. Everybody needs to agree where they're going to go when the fire starts, because that's the scary stuff, is meeting up with people. But anyway, be prepared. Like I say, there's guidebooks and things to do, but we really need to be aware that around our house, we need to stand back and look and see if we are safe. We don't have fuels up against the edge of the house. CAL FIRE in Northern California goes around and they remind people, get those leaves away from the house, because a spark can set those on fire. So if you've cleared away the brush, there's a house at the top of Lemoyne, which is in Shasta County, and several of the houses burned up. But this particular person had worked for CAL FIRE and totally cleared the crest of the mountain there. And the fire, when he came home after the fire, his name's Mike Refkin, he used to work with CAL FIRE. When he came home after the fire, it had burned right up to the edge where he had prepared, kept away all the burnable fuels. And so he happened to be saved from this fire. So we can all do what we can to make sure we have no pine needles on the roof, no leaves up against the side of your building. And so that's what I want to remind you about, being safe for fire, because we are coming into fire season. And where there's smoke, there's fire. We want to make sure to report it and pay attention. If you see a spark, we need to be right on it to try and put it out. So that was starting with masks and going to fire. But now I'd like to talk to you about public access. I want you to get involved. It's so important that we have people to tell a story. and you may have an opinion that may disagree with mine. More and more, we all gotten to where we defend our positions, and if it's a opinion that you want to put, we're open to listening to people talk about whatever they feel strongly about. Or if there's something happening in your community that you want to gin up interest, or if you have some ideas about how to put the youth to work this summer. We have a lot of people that were looking for jobs, and it's a two-income world, and they fell behind. So 2 people will be working in all the different industries that support each and every one of us, whether it's getting gas, going to the market, all the different things that we all need to live. There's going to be competition for jobs. So maybe communities want to get together and hire the youth on Saturdays. I was saying Saturday mornings, maybe the kids that have a truck get together with other kids and go around in a neighborhood and say, what can we do? We can do hauling, we can do raking, mowing, we can help you with spring cleanup. So I am thinking that teenagers need to get creative and write their name down and their number and just go around, and anybody that they see in their yard. A lot of time elders need help. Senior citizens really can't do all that backbreaking, breaking, raking. And right now I'm trying to get the city of Mount Shasta to open up the Roseburg property. I wrote a letter to them asking them that we really want people to be fire safe, and we want people to clean up their yards. And I don't really want people waiting for a burn day and burning, because a lot of people that have moved here from the city don't know how to burn safely. So I want to encourage the city to open up Roseburg, that people will have a place to take all this vegetation and dry brush and fuel. The problem with taking it to the dump is you can't just fill up a pickup truck with everything. You have to sort out the branches on one side and put all the leaves and pine needles either in a bag or separately, because it's deposited at 2 different places at the dump. Whereas if we could just have fuel reduction location where everybody just took everything to get it out of everybody's yard, if we could really clean up, we can make areas safer. Okay, so somehow I bounced back to fire. Oh, youth helping clean up. And I want the city of Mount Shasta to open up the Roseburg property. Okay, so that was something I was passionate about, so I wrote a letter. I just want to encourage you to get the paper. You know, the press and the news media, a lot of people say, I don't need a paper. I go on the web and I get the information I need. And when you search something, now we've learned with algorithms, if you search something, you get more of that information that you ask for. And I think that's affected the reason we're so divided in the country. My friends and my family, we don't all agree. And so we have lively debates. But I just think when people search something, they don't always get both sides of an issue. And it's so important that we get to be a fair witness so we see both sides. So I really ask the news media they have an ability to frame political issues. And I've brought it up before with my local paper. I think sometimes they give a lot of headlines to one side of view. So I've been writing letters to the editor, and I encourage you to do that. In the old days, when you were going to get a car or you were looking for a job, you would get a paper. And nowadays, people find things on the internet or Craigslist or everything, but not everybody has good Wi-Fi. Some people go to the library to use the internet, but they haven't been able to do that for a year. I want to encourage all of you that the few coins that you spend on a newspaper, I promise you will have a reward. There will either be a sale on gardening things, or spring sale things that you need to get for your yard, or maybe even I always say I like to watch for good price on them. Like if I can save $1, it's worth cutting out. Otherwise it floats around in my purse and gets lost. But this time of year, we're all needing allergy relief. They have $7 off or $3 off on some different eye wash. Some people are getting their skin is getting dry, really good prices on. So you get your money back when you buy the paper, if only just from coupons. That was one suggestion. But also, there's so many things going on in your community that you learn about. And also there's we got to all keep our mind sharp. There's crossword puzzles and Sudoku, and that just keeps us sharp. I noticed that the papers for Oregon, they have a wonderful section for kids. I've really been trying to encourage our paper to do it. Maybe you're inspired. Kim Solga, are you out there? Kim Solga used to make a book for the kids in school, and they received it once a month, and it just had interactive play in it. I'd love for her to do a page for the paper. Maybe you want to get together with some other teachers for summer to keep kids active and maybe give them word play or drawing or coloring or something. I'd just like to give you an idea if you're inspired. Used to be people would want to watch this, get the sports headlines. Now, of course, the paper comes out later, but still, people that are avid sports people, they love to read the details. So I want to encourage you to get the paper and maybe even get involved sending the paper what you thought about the latest. Maybe every Monday morning quarterback, you send something to the paper first thing. Also, it used to come with the funnies, different papers. Our Northern County paper has funnies. But I love it. I tell you, there's always one that I want to send somebody that reminds me of somebody I love. Different papers have different cartoons and comics, which are entertaining. And now that we've been home so much and we still have a little more time. Also, it has a TV guide. Oh, something I noticed, because water is going to be an issue. That was something I wanted to talk to you about that's in the papers this week. And Local Farm is growing succulent plants. This is so wonderful. There's a new crest garden, Mountain Crest Gardens in the Scott Valley is raising dozens of varieties of succulent plants. This is getting very popular now because water is getting more and more precious. They're talking about how valuable water is. And here we live in Weed. I mean, here we're recording in Weed where they're just drawing the water out of the mountain. And it's so valuable. We really, of course, it makes me want to talk about preserving the water and not having things that will compromise drinking water for millions of people. But I don't want to get on that chat. So, Jefferson, the state of Jefferson is something we talk about here in Northern California. And it includes Southern Oregon and Northern California. So the different counties are Lake, Klamath, Jackson, Josephine, Curry, Douglas, and Coos Bay, Oregon. So this beloved state of Jefferson includes Del Norte, Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen, Shasta, Plumas, Tehama, Butte, Glen, Mendocino, Humboldt, and Trinity. And the reason this is important is right now where I talk about water issues in the Oregon paper, epic drought means water crisis in Oregon-California border. It was also in our Mount Shasta Herald, tensions rise in water battle along the Oregon-California line. So I don't think people realize how much it's going to impact everybody. There was in 1995, we had a helmet law. Everybody voted to make helmets a good, safe thing to do when you rode your bike. And at the end of that, in 1995, this is what's been explained to me, there was a little bit of a clause when everybody agreed to wear helmets that said that California would control all the groundwater. So 95, 2005. So it's 25 years later, and the groundwater is now going to be controlled. So if you have a farm and you have 7 wells with 4 pumps, the county is going to control how much water you use to do your farming. This is really important because our food comes from farming, and we need water, and we need it to be clear, and not only for washing of ourselves, but growing our food needs to be pure and not compromised. So Northern California and Southern Oregon is going to be having water battles. I think we all need to pay attention to that. I don't know how much more time I have, so I want to keep going on some of the different things I want to talk to you about. Climate was part of this water talk. I was going to get into that, but I know I'm running tight on time. I want to talk to seniors for a minute. I was noticing I get this, and it talks about a lot of phone scams, and I'm worried about people because right now it's really serious. You need to talk to your elders. If you don't live with an elder and you have a big family or a small family, you need to call that elder and say, beware of phone scams. Last year, somebody called me and told me my cousin was in trouble and she needed money, and I went, huh? I hung up and called her, and she said she had 3 phone calls from other family members. So the internet has a lot of our data, and they can find out everything about us, family, friends, children. And so they call up one of your elders and say, oh, she can't get a hold of you right now. She needs money. People are falling for this scam. Hard to believe, But please talk to your seniors about those kind of, don't answer calls from unknown numbers. That's kind of hard to do because you might be waiting from a call from a doctor. So I say let it go to message, and if it's not a scam, they'll leave a message. Do not respond to questions. Don't give out any information. Just don't. We've got to advise people to be more careful. Sometimes you'll get texts now. I'm finding that you're getting texts. They'll say, we're going to be taking money out of your account. Call to stop. Well, the minute you call, you reinforce that your number is good. So you don't want to do that. What was some of the other ones? I saved a bunch of these little scams I wanted to tell you about, where they call you up and want you to give out information. So that's the big secret about that. But speaking of seniors, I want to remind you that there's a senior nutrition program, and don't be too proud to sign up for senior nutrition. And they are, Great Northern is also having food giveaways. We're still having people that are having a food crunch. And so in our community, it's called Great Northern, but each community has food distribution, and they have a day where you just drive in and they give you bags of food, and you can make sure that your family has every meal. So back to, I'm hopping around now, back to seniors. Make sure you back up your computer. If you have a senior or anybody in your family that's using a computer to take pictures or do a project or a school project, we really need to remind people to be sure and turn your computer off when you close all your files and let it, kind of clear its memory. Also, you need to go through and get rid of the history of anything you've searched. If those history windows are all open, I don't know how much they drain or slow it down, but it's a good idea to close all the windows. I just want to remind people to pick up your phone and clear your memory of things that you're no longer searching for. Or, it'll just help your phone if you turn it off once in a while. And, okay, so what was this one other thing I saw? This was an interesting thing I learned about computers. Some computers have Google. Gmail allows you, have you ever sent a message and gone, oh, I put the wrong person's name? Gmail has a feature that you can pull that message back. You have to go into settings and look for a field called undo send. If you go to undo send, you can add a 30-second option. So the minute you push that button, it might give you 30 seconds to pull it back. I'm one of those people that if I send a picture to the wrong person, I try and turn my phone off before it finishes sending. So anyway, just a reminder that you're living in a tech world. And I was noticing in this magazine, it was talking about facial recognition. This is really important that we realize everywhere we go, we're on cameras, which is a good thing. When something happens, you need to know, why did your wing got broke or something and you're in a parking lot? They might be able to tell you why. Things like that. My friend had that happen. I can see that my time is running low. So walk off. I called my show today something like Walk It Off or something. I can't remember. But not just about weight. Sometimes we have something that happened that we're really struggling with, or we're trying to get a solution to. If we go out and walk and breathe fresh air and just get a change of pace, it's so important right now. We've spent so much time on computers and with different electronics. I don't know what people are all using, but we all need to sit up straight because we're going to have a curled society. And I always say to somebody, find a corner in your house and just put your backbone up against it, and you'll realize how much we're starting to kind of curve up. We're going to have a whole society of people that are kind of curling. So I want to remind you of that. And not only is it good for your mind to just get up and get out, walking is so good for your system to keep everything moving and to remind us to breathe. Because sometimes I think we hold our breath. So walking it off and walking with a friend or family member can help everybody kind of just take it down a notch. I don't know what time I have right now to remind you what else I want to say. I don't want to get into something political. One of the things that's in the paper is they have this parade. They have one called Relish, one called Spry. And I just kind of save these. I toss them over, and then when I'm bad commercial on TV, or I'm waiting for somebody to call back, or I'm sitting on a phone loop, I glance through them and I find wonderful food ideas. This one I want to share with you. I'm just going to explain it real quick. Once you taste this crunchy, craveable snack, you'll want to share it at all your gatherings. This is a cheese crispy. You're going to put butter, cheddar cheese, flour, salt, cayenne pepper, and crisp rice cereal. And then you're going to cook it in the oven, and it makes it like a cheese rice crispy kind of a thing. Then also biscuits, cheese and garlic biscuits. Be sure and consider sometimes just having a meal where whatever fixins you put in a bun, you put in lettuce. I noticed, like, here's an idea, like if somebody was making tacos, they could use lettuce leaves, and then you just fold them up and eat them, or if you're making chicken salad or egg salad. So that was one of the ideas I wanted to say. Salads, we need to come up with more ideas because we all need to eat more greens, more things closer to living. I wonder about our society where there's so many preservatives in our food. And what is it doing to us? Is it preserving us? I don't know. We've all lost so many people and we're all dealing with grief. I think in the last year we've all had some sort of loss of a person or a job or a pet or best friend. So we're all trying to figure out how to recoup that and regrow that and regenerate that spirit. My time is almost up, so I want to remind you I'm here at the Siskiyou Media Council. This is our studio, the Alvarado Studio, 616 South Weed Boulevard. Come on down on a Sunday and try and catch John and get scheduled, find out about what we're doing. Or I want to remind all of you to take your camera, and if you see something newsworthy, catch it. And I'm hoping to have an address or a email, Siskiyou Media Council. I don't know who reads our emails, but if you catch something newsworthy and you can connect with us, maybe we can start using that. I think we're trying to put together a news show that we're gathering people. So even if you don't want to be a host like me, you can also present information or something you capture or something newsworthy. Maybe you want to gather up a bunch of friends and do quilting pictures. Something. We want to get people to have the community participate in producing news for Siskiyou County. So check in with us. Our website is siskiyouMediaCouncil.org. And you can watch our videos on YouTube, Siskiyou Media Council. My name is Therese Swenson. My show's called These Times. And it used to be about town for many years. I interviewed people, started with Dr. Parker. Back 10 years ago, we did shows where we did informational interviews about whatever people were worried about, swine flu or congestive heart failure, diabetes, whatever he wanted to talk about. So anyway, thanks for joining me, Therese Swenson. Find public access and just flip by it once in a while and see if there's a story that's interesting to you. I also do shows up in Southern Oregon at Rogue Valley, rvtv.sou.edu. So it's through the Southern Oregon University. And I'd love for you to go to YouTube and watch Southern Oregon University. It's called Rogue Valley Television, RVTV. Time's up. I feel the hook. He's dragging me off stage. Thanks. See you next time.
Solve it, get involved and do